Hi. Our goal is to create the peaceable kingdom where there's peace in the family and the peoples and the animals. If you're coming near my life, you need to know where I'm coming from. So here's an important work. This is my relationship family timeline and my spiritual God wisdom timeline, or my truth and conscience timeline. In the event that you're uncomfortable talking about God, this is truth and conscience. Okay, now I want to start out with some basics. I want to start out with a word. Here's the word. The word is, yikes, bad reflection, there we go. The word is mitzvah. Yeah, mitzvah. A mitzvah is a treat like candy, a good deed or a help to somebody, a teaching, a command from a wise one or parent or boss who benefits you. A mitzvah is a word that's very interesting because when it's translated into English, it doesn't really work. It's such a complex word. The idea that a little treat, a little bit of wonderful teaching is like a tasty candy. And I like to call that the goodies. All right? So I grew up with a lot of goodies actually missing. I grew up with goodies missing. Now here. Next. I can't figure out where the light is. This is such a bad production. I really need help. Okay, this seems to help or work. No, yes. How about this? Does that work? Okay, the mechanics of the spirit realm. I can't get an angle where I can see because I'm not a cameraman. All right, here we go. The mechanics of the spirit realm. There are three influences on your behavior and your thought. There's you, there's your peer group, your family, the community that you're surrounded by, and there are spirit beings. People do not realize that human beings will literally lie to just do what everybody else is doing. They will lie. They will even put themselves in trouble. They will choose to do evil just to do what their peer group, their family, their friends, what everybody else is doing, what grandma did. It's horrible. It influences your behavior and your thoughts. So there's you personally, there's your peer group influence, and then there are spirit beings that can actually affect your emotions, your behavior, your thoughts. A guy named Abraham was told, look, the spirit, the supreme spirit says, I can't really work with you. You need to get away from your peer group and your atmosphere for me to talk with you. Some people have one kind of problem and some have another kind of problem. Okay, so let's go over here to where I started out. I started out with a USA education and my control group. I had two parents who were not married. Pro-miscuare. Pro means without, and miscuare means form. It means formless or bad form. They were in a bad form as far as sexual intimacy. My parents were not married. My father was married with 4 kids and a pregnant wife when he got my mommy pregnant. That was my startup. And then I was also surrounded by a Christianity that was very deficient, that had many articles of good, but with much hidden evil. So I've got USA education, and I've got 2 parents not married. I've got Christianity very deficient, and my mom was pregnant with me, and another guy ended up marrying her when she was pregnant with me. Now, I'm not going to do my whole timeline right now. I'm doing the preparations right now. So, treats, the mitzvot, the treats is wisdom, teachings that benefit you. Teachings that benefit you. The mechanics of the spirit realm. There are three influences on your behavior and thought. You, your peer group, which is stronger than God, and then there are spirit beings that are assigned to you. Some of them don't go away. So my parents had a problem with promiscuity. And there's definitely promiscuity problems in my lineage. Okay, now here's some curious things. Holy Spirit and power. One of the stories in all human history, one of the stories is that fire appeared in a room, flames of fire with no heat. The fire separated into little clusters or tongues of fire, and those flames of fire stood over people's heads. And they began speaking in a heavenly language. Okay, number 2, meditate on that. That is an intense thing. In the book Like a Mighty Wind, fire appears on the roof of a stuffy Presbyterian church in the 1960s, and all the people in the church building begin to get fully supernatural and speak in heavenly language. Fire on the roof. The whole town comes to put out the fire. And they realize nothing's burning, there's no heat. That they open the doors of the church and all the people are literally high on the Holy Spirit, as they say. This is peculiar, interesting stuff. I mean, if you don't want to have anything to do with it, it's still interesting, okay? It's stuff that I am now involved in and connected with. The teachings of Yeshua Messiah, the supernatural visitor, the teachings for the new covenant, the way of interacting with the strongest spirit, are very detailed. They're of huge value, and much of those teachings are scattered around and missing. Some of the pieces are missing. Many of the pieces are just hidden in plain sight. One group does these things and doesn't do other things. Another group does a lot of these things, but they don't do the other things that these people do. Then, these are the three gifts of Yeshua. The Holy Spirit and power, the teachings of the way of life, how to be friends of God in the home and on the street. Very detailed stuff. And then there's the people, the actual human beings. Ephesians 4. Yeshua, Messiah, has given gifts of types of people. Sent ones, teachers, truth speakers. I don't use the religious language. This is also apostles. It means somebody who's sent. It's not a complicated, super religious term. It was people who are sent around, somebody who's sent to you in the diner. Teachers, people who are carrying interesting information all over the place. Truth speakers, they're everywhere. That's what a prophet is. A prophet is a forthteller of truth, not a person who's doing predictions as much as someone who's speaking forth true things. Okay, now, let me give you one of the goodies. Here is what I have not had for all these years. The yip-eee yahoo communion group. Yip-eee yahoo communion group full of goodies. The sweet communion group atmosphere where family hearts are open about all things. In a brotherhood elder group, and all of Yeshua's goodies are known. All of his teachings are being followed. And everybody says, we don't have to live like that no mo. Because together, everyone is sharing their needs and their difficulties. Now, this is the preface. I'm giving you the preface. I'm not going to give you the details on my timeline yet. But I'm working into this. I haven't worked the whole timeline up yet. But here's the last thing. I want you to know my grief. And I want you to know my failure. And I want you to know my confident hope. My grief was that at a certain moment in April 1994, I read the true information written by an eloquent truth speaker about the fact that there seems like there's only one human being in all the history of mankind that has hundreds of predictions set in writings across 1,000 years, written by 40 people that did not know each other, that all came true in one person. And the Dead Sea Scrolls discovery proves that those writings have never been tampered with, because there we have copies of these Hebrew scriptures that are from about 250 years BCE or BC, before the season or the time and the birth time of the Jesus of Nazareth character. So at Evans Pond in Haddonfield, New Jersey in April 1994, I was shocked into the reality that all of this God and Jesus stuff was really real. And I was furious. I was in grief. I thought I was robbed. My elders, my teachers did not give me the proofs that Jesus is God, and they didn't give me the operating understanding of how to get business advice and relationship advice and peace of mind from the highest spirit. I was robbed. And then, as I began to learn, I had many failures because I had a lack of understanding, putting things together. But my confident hope is this, that because I am seeking understanding in order to be caring and restoring my human family, I am sozo. Sozo means made whole or preserved or held in peace and vitality. This is my grief, that I lived so much life stupid up to April 1994 when I was awakened. And now, in this season, we'll see the timeline later, I have a desire, I have guts of mercy, I have this deep compassion for all people. Ordinary pastors, ordinary pew sitters, all these people that hate Christianity for all the right reasons. Both of my fathers quit Christianity because they saw the fakers and the prideful people in it. They went away. The sweet communion group atmosphere is what we will build, what we are building. And it is a yip-eee yahoo thing. The word eucharist, which is the root word in Greek that's translated communion, it means celebration, it means party, it means yahoo, we get the goodies. So stay tuned, and you will be able to get a tour of my life and a lot of the pain and trouble and all of these seasons here, all these years. I did not have a place to share my heart. I did not have a place to open my heart to get some guidance from other human beings. I didn't have the caring that was designed by Yeshua to be guided by the Holy Spirit. And it was only at this point did I begin training and seeing what those Christianity people were doing, because before April 1994, and this time before, I was an anti-Christian bigot. I thought religious people were kind of stupid, and I wasn't just not interested because I saw the fakery in it. So hold on tight, and bless you all night.